Right now at noon, the United States Embassy in Turkey is shot at overnight as the two countries fight over a detained pastor.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Monday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit. But first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast, and we are under an alert day today.
Today is an alert day, Mark. We are tracking rounds of rain that'll move through, and that could bring the potential for flash flooding yet again, especially in the same areas that saw some of that flash flooding on Friday. Let's go ahead and show you a live look outside now. Of course, it is very cloudy and very dreary. It's just been one of those days. Temperatures are into the mid-70s at this noon hour. Winds coming out of the east at about 13 miles per hour. But as we head into the afternoon, we are expecting heavy rain with localized flooding, as well as the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms. We're tracking a lot of these showers moving into the area right now. You have some moving into southern Dane County, so out near places like New Glarus and then over towards Mount Horeb, you may see some rain moving into the area now. Monroe getting in on some decent shower activity. And as we go through the rest of the afternoon, we will see more of these showers and thunderstorms. And while it does not look super widespread, the problem is they're going to be slow moving as they go through. For example, that was between this evening and 3 o'clock. And you saw how some of those heavy rain bands just kind of sat over the same location. So that is what we are going to be tracking as we go through the rest of the night. There is, of course, a flash flood watch for a lot of these areas, Mark, and we will keep everyone up to date on the evolving weather going through the rest of the afternoon.
All right, grab the umbrella.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes, Chris. Thank you. Police in Turkey are looking for the people who shot at the American embassy in the country's capital. Tensions are rising between the two countries. The embassy was closed at the time of the attack. It appears around 6 rounds were fired at the embassy from a vehicle. This attack comes when relations between the U.S. and Turkey, two NATO allies, are strained, perhaps even at a breaking point. They're at odds over several issues, including the detention of an evangelical pastor from North Carolina who Turkey accuses of terrorism and spying. President Trump says he is not worried about what the White House chief lawyer told special counsel Robert Mueller in several interviews. The president also criticized Mueller and the Russia investigation this morning in a series of tweets. Trump's lawyers say they are not afraid of what was shared about the firing of FBI Director James Comey and the handling of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. But they are concerned about him walking into a perjury trap. Rudy Giuliani, one of President Trump's lawyers, argued Sunday that Mr. Trump could perjure himself during an interview with Mueller.
It's somebody's version of the truth, not the truth. He didn't have a conversation.
Truth is truth. I don't mean to go like...
No, it isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. The President of the United States said...
Giuliani tried to clarify his comments in a tweet today, saying he was referring to the classic he said, she said puzzle. Sometimes further inquiry can reveal the truth that other times it doesn't. So far, Mueller has not subpoenaed Trump to testify. Pope Francis is responding to sexual abuse allegations against Catholic priests in Pennsylvania and efforts to cover up those crimes. In a letter to Catholics around the world, the Pope condemned the abuse, saying the church abandoned the survivors. Pope Francis also begged for forgiveness and says church leaders have been more concerned about their reputation than the safety of children. A grand jury report found that more than 1,000 instances of child sexual abuse committed by hundreds of clergy members. More than 800,000 people are displaced in southern India today because of extreme flooding. More than 350 people have also died. The southern part of the country is dealing with its worst flooding in more than 100 years. The rain is still falling. It first started there almost 2 weeks ago, and it's caused landslides and buildings to collapse. Boats and helicopters are working to rescue people and get supplies to areas that are now isolated. It's still unclear what caused 2 boats to crash in Lake Winnebago Saturday night. A 20-year-old and a 26-year-old from Neenah were thrown from one of those boats. The Winnebago County Sheriff's Office dive team and the DNR recovered their bodies yesterday. The names of the 2 victims have not been released, and the investigation into what caused the crash continues this morning. Well, today is the first time students in Mount Horeb will be together after several young people killed themselves in a small town over the summer. At least 3 Mount Horeb School District graduates or students have died by suicide since November. The death of a 10-year-old in late July is also being investigated as a possible suicide. Mount Horeb School Superintendent Steve Salerno says the school board is looking for ways to help prevent future suicides, but students are also focused on making a positive change.
We have a team of students who, in partnership with their school's administration and staff, have developed their own student wellness coalition. In addition, we held a community forum just this past Saturday to develop some long-range planning that moves us from postvention to prevention planning in these areas.
The Mount Horeb School District has also been applying for grants to get additional social services programs at the school and has been looking for a therapist to work for the district. Madison residents will get their chance to comment on the first time for a proposed water rate increase next week. The hearing in front of the state's Public Service Commission comes as the Madison Water Utility is dealing with a $6 million deficit. If approved by the PSC, the average Madison water user would pay about $90 more per year. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you get frustrated when you can't pronounce half the ingredients in what you buy, today we have a farm-to-table answer for that. You know, these days, it seems that more and more of us want nutrition labels to be clean and list simple ingredients, rather than ones that are hard to pronounce. This isn't always possible, but we came up with an easy homemade tomato sauce that features fresh tomatoes, as well as a few other pantry favorites. We start by cutting up about 4 pounds of super ripe tomatoes. This time of year, you shouldn't have any problem finding ones that are really fresh like this. Next, we fill our blender about 3/4 of the way full and give it a whirl until the tomatoes are pureed. Then we pour this into a soup pot and we repeat this until all the tomatoes are used up. Now, we add some off-the-shelf spices and let it simmer uncovered for about an hour. We'll stir in some fresh basil and voila, This sauce is ready to serve over everything from pasta to veggies. This is something that you can whip up in no time. There's no peeling or seeding. Simply blend, simmer, and enjoy. And when it comes to taste, all I can say is, Mamma mia, it's good. To get the recipe for what we call blender tomato sauce, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fresh and saucy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Start thinking of your plant and garden questions. Linda Barch from the Bruce Company will be here taking your calls. Plus, rain's in the forecast. Chris Reese joins us after the break with your first alert forecast. Our call for action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call our hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up almost 100 points. The NASDAQ up 4. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee. On this Monday, rain on the way. Is Pam here? Okay, Pam Yankee in the Q106 Radio Barn.
Hello.
There she is. We see you now.
I was just going to say, hello. Are we here?
You're here.
There we go. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm with you, man. The water welcome for some of our viewers, but I'll tell you what, if you're in that Watertown area, that's probably the last thing you're thinking about. But for the rest of Wisconsin, we'll get our latest crop progress report out later this afternoon, and we are going to find that there are pockets all around the state that are still plenty dry. So on the midday, with that rain coming in, and remember, today is day number 1 of the Progressive Farmer Crop Tour that's happening. They've got crop scouts that are in both the east as well as the west growing regions, and they will be meeting Thursday at Rochester, Minnesota. Every day they're going to kind of give you the reports on what they're seeing in farm fields. And the other thing I thought that you said was interesting is they, just like the president, they will be tweeting and using social media to get their reports out. And they said if some of their reports vary greatly from one region to the next or from one side of their report to the other, They think that they might be able to inspire some change. I hope they do, because, boy, you can see how wheat is down on the midday. Our soybeans are the only strong point right now. Corn is also currently trading down, just in case you're watching that. And as far as the rest of the news in the marketplace is concerned, we're also keeping an eye on what's happening with crops around the world. I was very intrigued to find out that the drought is so bad in areas of Europe, they are actually helicoptering in water into the Swiss Alps to take care of animals there. They are also worried about drought in Finland. Germany is thinking about an aid package for their livestock farmers because of the drought. And in Australia, they say that it's cheaper to shoot animals than it is to try to find feed for them. So, like I said, welcome rain indeed. Barrel cheese today down 2 3/4 cents at 164 1/4. 40-pound block cheese down 4 1/2 at 161. The double A butter down a nickel and a half, 2.25 a pound today. So we could find maybe the rain is as good as our news is going to get for our farmers today, Mark.
Yeah, some people don't need any rain, that's for sure, but others do.
Boy, yeah. Like I said, we'll see how much Chris can bring out of these clouds. We'll check in on that for tomorrow.
All right, thank you. We'll check back tomorrow.
All right.
Bam, Chris is here now, and could see some heavier rain.
We could see some heavy rain, and the bad news is it's over some of those same areas that saw a lot of that flash flooding on Friday. So with that, we do have an alert day back into the forecast. That is for today, going through the rest of the afternoon and evening. Not only are we looking at the potential for flash flooding, but we also have the risk for strong to severe storms and even the possibility of an isolated tornado. That's the latest from the Storm Prediction Center that we're going to be tracking as we go through the next couple of hours. Let's go ahead and start with the flash flood watch. All of these counties that we do have shaded in the green, that includes us here in Madison over towards Lone Rock and Mineral Point, you all have the flash flood watch. That's going to go through tomorrow morning, and the locally heavy rain is going to be the primary threat out of these showers and thunderstorms that we do have pretty much all night long. But as these really start to move in right along that warm front that's lifting into town, we'll have the chance for some strong wind gusts and the isolated chance of a brief spin-up tornado. We saw what happened in Deerfield not too long ago. Here's that warm front right now lifting its way on into town. We'll go ahead and zoom in on where we're seeing some of the greatest rain in the area right now. If you live over in Monroe, you've got some heavy rain starting to enter into the southern half of your county as of now. That's going to soon be moving into southern Dane County, and eventually we'll see some rain from that here in Madison. Now, if you're getting ready to head out, maybe you're running out for lunch, 74 degrees is the temperature right now. If you've been outside today, you already know that, yes, of course, it is very cloudy. It's also kind of humid out there. Temperatures in the 70s for just about all of us. 75 in Janesville. Monroe, where that rain is coming down, they're sitting at 71 degrees as of now. But temperatures across the upper Midwest are just about all into the upper 60s and those low to mid 70s. You can actually see the cloud cover coming in, and you can even see the swirl of that low pressure and the storms that are developing along that cloud cover. Here comes the rain into town as of now. But check this out. This is a really intense region of low pressure. You can really watch how the winds are wrapping around that as that begins to track its way to the north and east. We're going to continue to see those winds out of the east and eventually becoming out of the northeast later on today. This is almost a setup that you would see out of winter, but that's going to be bringing the heavy rain as it comes through. Then we'll pay attention to high pressure coming in out of Canada. That's going to be bringing us more sunshine towards the middle of the week, along with some of that cooler and drier air. But in the meantime, we're keeping the clouds and the showers around. Notice temperatures are going to be staying into the 70s for the next couple of days, even with that sunshine returning into the picture on Wednesday. But we could see a lot of rain out of this, folks. We really have to keep a close eye on that because some places could see upwards of 3, maybe even 4 inches of rain. So this afternoon, scattered storms, heavy rain is possible, as is the potential for damaging winds or a brief spin-up tornado. We could see some lingering showers as we head into the morning on Tuesday. Clouds lingering throughout the day. More sunshine comes in on Wednesday and Thursday. Both of those will be spectacular days. But then, you know, everyone says once school starts, I've heard this a lot, once school starts, the 90s come back for a little bit. And so school's starting, and we do see a surge of heat as we get you towards next week. But for now, we're going to be cool and rainy.
It never fails, yeah. When school
It
starts.
never fails, so we'll see.
We got to get through today first.
Yes, we do. And we'll make sure that you're staying weather aware today. Follow us on TV and on social media, and we'll keep everything up to date.
All right. Thank you, Chris. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, it's time to get your plant and garden questions answered. Linda Barch from the Bruce Company is here, 270-9933, the number to call. We'll get to your calls right after this.
News.
Linda Barch from the Bruce Company is here taking your calls at 270-9933. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Mark.
Lots of grasses here today.
I did bring on some ornamental grasses because they're starting to really look pretty right now. The seed heads are developing on them. But I do want to caution you that when you're buying these grasses, make sure you check the label. It will indicate the height on there because they vary quite a bit. You know, you can. This one here is called Little Bunny, so if you need something shorter, but like this zebra grass comes in two sizes. This is going to get a lot taller. This can get as tall as 6 to 8 feet, and the dwarf one in front is going to stay half that size.
Read the labels.
Read the labels.
All right, let's get to the phones, and we'll start with Nancy in Mineral Point. Hi, Nancy. Nancy, you there?
Yes.
Hi, what's your question?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. About butterfly bushes. I have had butterfly bushes in the past, and they may last for 2 or 3 years and then die off. But what I was wondering, I've got a couple more this year. Wondered if there was anything I can do over the winter to try to urge them to come back in the spring.
Well, that is a plant that tends to be shorter lived, just like you're explaining. Do you mulch them with a nice layer of wood mulch? That's one of the recommendations that I would make sure that you do that, because that may help a bit. They want good drainage, a decent amount of sun, but they just are shorter lived, but they sure are pretty.
And plants don't live forever.
No, but some a little longer than 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to Linda in Janesville. Hi, Linda.
Hello.
Hi, what's your question?
Well, I did container gardening for the 3rd year this summer, and my tomatoes, the leaves started with yellow and brown spots, and it spread to the stems and all.
Yes.
What do I do so this doesn't happen again? It didn't hit the tomatoes themselves, but
Okay.
the plants.
Well, see, this year that would be difficult for you to control because it was the weather that we had earlier on that led to some blight. When you have conditions that where we get that much rain and we are consistently that wet, and then we move to real humid conditions, it's really hard. There is a preventive spray that you could put on before you see any of the splotchiness, the blight on the leaves. That may help. But otherwise, good airflow is very critical.
And get rid of the soil for next year?
Yes, don't get rid of that soil and sterilize the pots.
All right, let's go to, let's see here, who's on 3? Richard in Cambridge. Hi, Richard.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
What's your question?
A friend of mine, he has showed me this. I think it's a green hornworm
Okay.
in his tomatoes, but I've seen thousands of them. This one has all these white, like icicles growing on it.
Okay. Well, sometimes there are caterpillars that then get attacked by, there are different kinds of biological controls, and these little insects will lay eggs on them, and then that's actually going to parasitize and kill that. So that's probably a good thing.
Mother Nature can be cruel.
Yes.
All right, Barb in Mineral Point. Hi, Barb.
Hi.
Hi.
I am concerned about a hydrangea plant that I have. It's got beautiful foliage. It has not bloomed, and I'm wondering, is it too late for it to bloom, or is there something I can put on it? That's my question.
Yes, there's a number of hydrangeas. I'm waiting for my endless summer to bloom, and all I have is beautiful foliage and not a single flower this year. But it was inadvertently cut down, and so then you need to leave that plant. Don't cut it back in the fall. Do fertilize it. Make sure you have an adequate amount of sun, at least a half a day of sun, if not more.
All right, Linda in Janesville. Hi, Linda, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I planted some morning glories earlier this spring, and it's full of leaves. It's got vines crawling up the trellis and everything, but I have not one bloom, no bud, no nothing. I was wondering what I did wrong.
No, you didn't do anything wrong. You have to start that very early because they take a long time to come into bloom. So, and it's difficult to buy the vines. So you start the seed early and then get them planted outside as soon as we're past danger of frost.
But they're an annual, so they're not coming back.
It's an annual, correct.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you all for calling in. Linda will take your calls off the air, so stay on the line. Don't hang up. We'll see you next time.
Okay, very good.
And Chris has one final check of the forecast.
That's right. We are still tracking a lot of the showers and thunderstorms starting to move into south central Wisconsin as of now. Right now, the heaviest rain is going to be moving into parts of Greene County. Places like Monroe will soon be getting in on some decent rain. Locally heavy rain is the primary threat that we do have, along with that flash flooding risk. But as these storms start to move in this afternoon, we can't rule out the potential for some damaging winds or an isolated tornado. I'll be on Twitter and Facebook through the rest of the afternoon giving you updates on the weather.
All right, keep an eye on things, and we will see you back here at 4 o'clock. It's raining in Janesville. Have a great afternoon.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.